extremely uncomfortable to make, but just enough. But now I'm seeing it on, I'm like, wait, it's actually really cute. I should continue. I think I should just kind of steam through this, and I will wear it. Colours, it was not working. So I started again, and then these are the colours that I have at the moment. It looks better, I think, on camera than it does in real life, the colours.
要纸吗？没有。
species